Hello and welcome to my channel, Piece of Gaia. My name is Lindsay and today we're going to be doing a card reading. This is a timeless card reading. So whenever you find this video and you stumble upon it, that is the perfect time. Alright, so today we're going to be doing 3 different options here. And I'm going to be picking a card of the day. If you would like to skip past this, that is totally up to you. So you can go down to the timestamps below, into the description box, and also into the comments. So I hope y'all are doing well today and having a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Great card of the day. Card of the day. Thrush. So voice, commitment, and cleverness. We're going to have 3 different groups and we're going to choose 3 different insects. So we got the theme today. So you want to do a little nail check. I think I'm going to start doing nail checks now because to see my pretty, pretty nails. Entomology theme today. All right, so let's go ahead and get you a card. And our background, this is Bjork, if you were wondering. Like, who is that girl? That is Bjork. When she was a bit younger, but still, I love her music, love some of her political stuff, even though I'm not a very political person. So let's see here. Card number 1 is going to be the dragonfly. Card number 2 is going to be the queen bee. Scarab beetle. Alright, so I will see you in your selected reading. Hello to those of you that selected group number 1 with the dragonfly here and this little pocket stone. Okay, so all my stones today have root chakra vibes, so also I'm feeling a very moving forward energy, but like this pause to kind of feel out your surroundings, feel out how you're physically feeling. So our card of the day, if you did not catch that, is the thrush with voice, commitment, cleverness. And it's funny because as I got this card out, I started to get kind of a frog in my throat. So I'm going to have some tea and I will be right back. All right, so today's card is very transformational. We have so much to do with this card. I mean, there is a lot of metamorphosis that most bugs go through, but this one in particular has a transformation and a kind of belonging to the water as well. And depending on what we're looking at here, this is more of a dragonfly, but there's also the damselflies. They're always around water. Beautiful. So I'm seeing the number 6 being important as well, 6 legs on this creature. There's also this pattern here that I drew that's not really the pattern of the actual dragonfly, is just kind of this, almost looks like a tribal pattern of some type. So maybe that is significant to you in some way, but I feel like these arrows and this, like, I felt this forward movement. So this commitment, the cleverness of the thrush, and then also I felt that a triggering energy coming from our card of the day. I really feel like there is something that maybe needs to come off as brash, or, you know, just a little, you know, maybe you just need to speak your mind about something, and that's your transformative process here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your cards. Look at your tarot first. What are the messages that those that selected group 1 need to hear at this time? Okay. So we have the Three of Cups, the Five of Coins, the Ten of Blades, and the Strength card, number 8. Okay, let's get into it. I feel like there is a definite boost to your self-esteem here coming, and you're ready to let something go that has been said, or a long chain of words, gossip, things that have come from a not so kind place. You're ready to let that go. You're ready to make peace with it. I'm seeing with these white flowers. And there's this new revitalization to your energy when you do this, because we're taking a tonic of joy, a bliss elixir, a love potion in this card. And this is showing me that you're choosing love. You're choosing the positive side of things. You're choosing to look at yourself in the more positive light. And this card comes through to say, yeah, there might be some stuff about you. Maybe there's some injuries, some illness, some things that you've had to deal with in your life, maybe some chronic stuff. And you've had to process this. And this wasn't easy. This was not an easy road. You've had to have a lot of strength in doing this. And our card of the day is also kind of coming through to say that with that voice energy, it's like, I'm hearing, treat others as you like to be treated. You think about it, in conflict, you can resolve conflict pretty easily just by putting a touch of love onto it, right? Even though sometimes maybe that person might really need a minute, they're gonna remember your last statement that you said. If you're trying to get them to realize something, if you're trying to bring them closer to you, or if you're trying to let them see a perspective that has hurt you, or something that you've had to compromise in order to now come forth and kind of show up today, because you're like, I need to have strength over these things that have been going on. I'm not going to be in this position anymore. I feel like this is a cycle. Sometimes illness or injury can also be a cycle. I'm being guided to say, like, recently I had a few strain of things happen to me because I was basically being like a construction worker in my house. So, I was not really being in my feminine energy, I will say. And recently I've really tried very hard. And if you've noticed in my videos, like, I'm always doing different nails, always focused on my aesthetic. I'm doing this purposely. I'm really trying to bring in more of my feminine energy. And that is just barely because I do live in a home that needs a lot of repairs. So, fixating on that kind of brings me into a darker place. And then I kind of want to just fix things. And then in that energy, I'm like, wow, I get like this self-esteem boost. But then as a feminine energy, I feel like I'm pushing too much. There has to be a balance. So I have to resort back to feeling that soft strength, that I feel it comes from this card, where, it doesn't take brute strength to put your hand inside of a lion's mouth. You have to be very gentle with this process. That animal has to trust you, has to love you, has to know you, right? So it's like, I feel like you're getting to know yourself a lot more. You're going to know your sensitive side, and you're going to be able to be more vulnerable about that, because you know that when you are vulnerable, you're there to catch yourself. Yeah, you're definitely there to like boost yourself up when things are not so great. And I'm also seeing there might be even some friends with this Three of Cups, some people that are close to you that you might find. There might also be a joining of a soul tribe. I'm also feeling like maybe there's a collective of women that you're a part of, or feminine energy that you're part of. This can also be, if you're a man watching this, this could also just be some very heart-to-heart conversations with some real, bromance situations, right? Okay. And then let's get you some cards here from this deck. This is going to be moon oracles. So what I'm kind of looking for in this deck is kind of a chance for you to see a side of your feminine side. We had talked about that already. So maybe just getting more into that if you are a woman watching this, or, you know, embracing some of those things about yourself as a man so that you can sit back and receive more and not push so hard. All right, so and as I do honor all genders and all identifications and all that kind of stuff, just for the purpose of my readings, if you're somebody who is any other identity other than when I say he or she or feminine, masculine, this does not exclude you. This is just the balance, light and dark. And you probably already know this. I might be speaking to the choir, but I just wanted to, you know, point that out because I do it for the sake of saving time, really. It's like I try to be direct, I try to include everyone, but when I say he or she, you know, that includes everybody. All right. What messages would you like to send us, Moon? We have the first quarter adaptability. And we have the sleeper, the moon, and Pluto. First quarter air moon, so adaptability. So this is showing me that a particular cycle of the air cycle, and you can look this up. You can go on, I've had videos where I put the dates, but also for the sake of, you know, you also finding your information, and, you know, you might even already know this, but waxing air is when you're going to want to bring in more of this adaptability. I'm seeing also just in a relationship to the card I put it through, adaptability through understanding many types of people so that you can adapt in certain situations and really get along. I'm feeling like there's going to be a lot of heart-to-heart situations because maybe you're opening up a part of yourself through this adaptation, that it's more like a finding, a discovery of a part of yourself. Because I feel this part of yourself that might have been dormant, and then awakening to this possibility of this new path forward, the new way of doing things. Also, I'm feeling, because there is this changeover, this you know, ending of something, and then ultimately it's like asking you to find that strength within yourself, and not in a way that's going to be harsh or jeopardize any of your commitments, but more in a sense of being clever, a sense of finding camaraderie within the differences, within the changes, within the many circles I feel like you might be navigating through. All right, let's get you some more cards here. Also, I'm feeling with the message that I felt with the feminine aspect, drawing in more of your feminine energy, just in general, is it's asking you, I'm here feeling to, since this is air energy, it's like it's asking you to find more ways to communicate than you currently are. So kind of maybe taking a lot of time to think about this. Maybe this might be something that is from your past, or from, I'm also feeling a very dreamy type energy where there's things in your dreams, there's things that you want to bring forward. I also feel like something about your dreams, there's a confidence that comes through in your dreams that maybe you don't feel in your physical waking life. And the strength card is coming through to be like, maybe you should hold on to some of those messages, maybe dream journal that stuff, because there might be something that you'll find within that you can adapt to a situation that maybe might be difficult in your waking life. Let's get you some more messages here. What animal spirit would like to come through for group 1? Those are selected group 1. Oh, look at that. You got the dragonfly and the pansy. That's so freaking special. Oh, your reading's cool. Okay, so okay, there was a plane flying overhead, so I had to wait for that. But what I'm feeling from that is with the dragonfly flying there, and the way that it maneuvers so quickly. I mean, if you've ever watched a dragonfly, like, it can just, you know, turn in a heartbeat. And also it can land on just strange things. Like when I went out paddleboarding, they would land on me when I was just out in the middle of the water. They're just like hanging out on me or hanging out on my board. And I feel like there's that balance is really showing me that the dragonfly, in order for it to fly the way that it does, it has to have that aspect of itself, that moving forward, but also gauging the energy to like know how to get out of a situation. It has almost like a, if you've watched its wings, it has the ability to kind of turn its wings. I'm even being guided to say, watch a video about dragonflies. There might just be something in that. There might be something beautiful that David Attenborough says to you. He's my favorite documentarian or animal behavioralist. So, yeah. Let's see. So also what I'm feeling with this balance is the Five of Coins is also saying that too. It's like maybe we got out of balance, kind of like how I had said before with the injury and how it can spiral. Like I had said, you know, my injuries kind of took different turns. Like first I, you know, hurt my shoulder, and then I hurt my back, and then I hurt my leg. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And when you get to that point, you're just, your body and like the world, there's messages everywhere saying, hello, please stop, just take a rest, like sit the frick down and just pause it out, you know, because maybe there's a time now that you're needing to find more of that balance. Like I had said before, like I'd kind of gone in detriment to that balance working with my masculine energy, and I had to come and pull it back and really find that balance again. Because it also, you know, during that period of time, I found myself neglecting or forgetting about things that I really would hone in on to keep my balance, like my diet and exercise and things like that. Because I felt like, oh, well, I'm working so much, I need to keep up my calories. Yes, but I did fall into eating kind of a more basic diet than my more specialized diet, and kind of just eating what everybody else was eating. And I found myself gaining weight in that. So I feel like that was also kind of crippling. Then it was like, okay, well, you know, now having a little bit extra weight on me, doing the things I'm doing, it makes it almost impossible. And then having the injuries. So it's like you can get yourself into that kind of cycle if you don't, you know, watch out, is what it's saying. So I'm not saying you're going to spiral. And I'm not saying this is debilitating for me, because I'm very healthy. I'm very strong. I mean, look at my hands. Look at these hands. No, I'm just kidding. But my hands are pretty strong. I can do a lot of things. So I was like, well, if I, you know, compromise my physical body, right? Because I'm now in this energy where I'm thinking I'm this Hercules, where I'm like, oh, I'm just pushing forward. I can do anything. Look at me go. Yeah, you can. I can, but with the right amount of energy. So I'm feeling like adapting to any situation now where you're like, I'm also feeling in a work situation, there might be something where you felt like you were left out, or you feel like you didn't have the skills, the skill set or the skill base, and you're going to be finding that. You're going to be finding more of that. I feel like there's more communication that's coming in, right? The waxing is showing me bringing in. Okay, waning would be getting rid of. So I feel like there's more information coming in. Yeah. And the cleverness is perfect. It goes with adaptability here so nicely. So it's like cleverness and adaptability go hand in hand. They're working together to find a solution, really. I feel like there's kind of a, like I like to say a lot, necessity is the mother of invention. So you have to find it necessary in order to kind of get clever and get out of your complacency, right? So, you know, adapting to a situation is just, I feel like it's almost the brain is being highlighted in this, so there might be some exercises that you want to do to get your cognitive skills back, right? I like to do word exercises or just reading too. Like sometimes I'll have a long period of time where I don't read, and I'll like find myself slipping back and I don't feel like as smart or like as clever, and I'll just have to be like, you know what, I think I need to get my read on or something like that, right? All right, let's get you another card here. A little, so we had the pansy come through too. Funny enough, this is my favorite flower. I love this card because this is like me and my best friend on the West Coast. If you're watching this, love you, babe. But she loves dragonflies. I love pansies. So it's funny that this card is together like that. Love it. Okay. All right. So let's see. A flower or an herb or something like that that would like to come through for you here in this energy. But the pansy's also showing me a period of time, because they can only bloom, they bloom for quite a long time, but toward that hotter part of the summer, especially where I'm at, pansy is like, you know what, I'm trying my best, and they get real leggy and they try, and then you just kind of gotta call it. So I like to put like a lot of them out in the front of my steps during the spring and early summer. I'm excited to see what varieties they have this year. Okay, dill, yum. Yeah, speaking of breaking my diet, I'm usually vegetarian or vegan, and I had some dill and garlic cheese curds. I live in Wisconsin. I mean, the gas station has their own fridge filled with different types of cheese curds. It's amazing. So we had some of those the other day, and they were so yummy. Oh. So this card says protection, love, attraction, money, and luck. Ooh. I always like to have dill in my garden too. I have it out in the front of my house, and it does not, I don't plant it. It grows voluntarily. This year I didn't even collect it. It was just, I just let it bloom, let it do its thing so it could seed out. Yeah, so maybe I'll collect a whole bunch of it next year. All right, so I do feel with that, yeah, there is something here about attraction in the Three of Cups, and the adaptability and the bringing in of this in the time period that this might be happening. I feel like maybe there's a friend circle, maybe there's something happening in the near future when this air moon is in effect, and that communication might be heightened. And I'm also just feeling in general, when you have protection, when you have love, when you have attraction, when you have money and you have luck, you can find a balance. You know, when we have a lot of lack of those things, that's when we're out of balance, right? I feel like there's this a little bit of lack energy coming through. And I feel like it's also the words that we say to ourselves. So in the Ten of Swords, it's like, analyze that when you say those defeating things that really bring you down. You know, our internal critic can be so harsh. So it's like, grab that critic, be like, hey, what was that we just said? Because let's kind of either rework that, reword that, or because I can find myself even just in the simplest times, you know, cleaning the house, cooking a meal, doing something innocuous, and then all of a sudden I find myself in this downward spiral talking about or thinking about negative things. And I might even have like just nice things going on in my house. I mean, if I'm cooking a beautiful meal, it's like it's almost like I'm internally processing some things maybe on that day. I also think there's a lot of planetary stuff going on with that, and I am Scorpio in Uranus and Mercury. So a lot of the communication that's abstract that kind of comes through can be a little chaotic, and that's why I also do a lot of self-care and that kind of stuff, because I have to constantly remind myself. And maybe even it's protection against some of your dreams, protection against some of your own debilitating thoughts, your own catastrophizing things and choices that you might make that lead you to certain situations until you're like, I need to change this. Like what I was saying about me getting in that, masculine energy too much. I was like, something's got to give. And then I just make that decision. Yeah, sometimes something's got to give. Something's got to change. You got to find your balance again. Maybe there's also messages coming through in your dreams, reminding you, telling you, you know, hey, we got to change. We got to do something about this. We got to look at it a different way. We have to adapt. All right, so now we're going to get a message from this deck here, from the guidebook. Really all I'm going to get from that is the deeper dive. So if you would want to look up the information, or sometimes she advises books, which I love. I have a couple of the books she's advised, and I have a couple of them in my cart ready to buy online. I love learning new things and seeing new perspectives. Right. All right, so, oh, hunter. All right, beautiful. Archetype of the hunter. Oh, that horse imagery. It's like a real move forward. Like I had felt the movement, the flying when the airplane went ahead. There's a lot of pushing forward. All right, so your deeper dive is Frida Kahlo's The Wounded Deer, eco-conscious predator, right? All right, so beautiful. I think we have a couple ending messages here for you in these two cards. I have a pomegranate with prosperity. The mountain with goals, prosperity. Yeah, to lead yourself to a prosperous area. I feel like you are pushing forward toward, I'm feeling, and I'm also hearing moving out of an energy of paycheck to paycheck, being able to save something, being able to build for something. Okay. And then your mushroom messages. I can let the past go and move forward. Yeah, that forward motion. Yeah, I feel like it's I'm feeling like without dismissing or doing it because you're trying to distract yourself or get out of another energy. Like you're not in the energy of denial. You're in the energy of moving past it because you're doing the work. And I'm feeling like moving into that energy, talking to ourselves in a prosperous way. The way we set our goals can be, like I said before, the way that we speak to ourselves, the thoughts that we offer ourselves or we take in. So we're not always responsible for all the thoughts that we have, but you know, we are responsible for how we look at those, how we take action forward on those thoughts. And I feel like your thoughts are going to be elevated in some way. I feel like that cleverness in our card of the day, and you having the strength card and the hunter card, it's like the lion archetype comes through, you know, with that, you know, showing you that there is goals that you may have felt unsurmountable up until now, but maybe there's something that you have, just a little details that you found that are now working for you. Okay, today I have the courage to be seen. I love that, courage with your strength card here. Yeah. I don't know how Leos do it sometimes though, you know. You Leos out there. I don't know how you guys shine so bright so easily. I mean, I know you probably have the in your stomach and you want to throw up, right? When you know, move forward with things where you have to push yourself in front of a bunch of people, probably because everybody gets that. But I just feel like Leos do it such with like this, like they're like, it doesn't matter. It's all good. It's no big deal. Like, it's no big deal. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me in this space. And I feel like also embodying the energy of the dragonfly today, maybe even meditating with that, sitting with that. Maybe if you see some imagery of that, you know, there's very powerful messages along with that balance and how that balance is going to be created in your life. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye. Hello to those of you that selected group 2, or this card here with this queen bee on it and this pocket stone here. So all my stones today are kind of a root chakra based energies. We're kind of got a entomology theme going on today with the nails. If you didn't see my nail check, I'm gonna start doing that now. Nail check. Roll call for my nails. All little pretty babies in attendance. All right, so beautiful energy. I think I do have a bee. Yeah, I do. There's a little honeybee on there. All right. So, feeling so much good energy from this. First of all, a real working together. You know, we had this card of the day come through. If you didn't see that, with the bird, the thrush, voice, commitment, and cleverness. I feel like the commitment part of this is really important for this group. I also see that there is some kind of frequency that you're aligning to as well, and you're picking up some information, you're picking up a lot of downloads, you're picking up a lot of things that you may be able to share with someone who really might need it, and someone close to you. All right, so let's go ahead and look at your cards here. Tarot. So I hope you are doing well today, wherever you are in the world. Whenever you are watching this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find this, that is the perfect time for you to find it. What are the messages for those that selected group 2? Seven of Blades. The Hermit. You know, I don't even think I've ever got this card out of this deck. I've gotten like every single other card is ever. That's so weird. I do not remember it looking like that at all. All right, voice. I'm hearing a lot of listening, a lot of communication coming through. Feeling like also the Hermit's like you might not want that communication to come through. Yeah, and then the Hangman, you're kind of in a standstill with what to do here, what to say. I'm feeling, okay, you know that frozen position that the Seven of Blades has in the Rider-Waite Tarot, where they're like, oh, you caught me. You caught me in the act. Like, that's what I'm kind of feeling. Like, someone's freezing. They're like, frozen. Stay still. Stay where you're at. Not like really actually catching someone red-handed. I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe. But I'm feeling like you're catching someone. This is a self-doing on their part. I also feel like that's just one message, but there's several coming through. So we will honor each one. So in the Seven of Blades, we have an energy of deception. In this, since I've never seen this card and how it looks, it's showing me that these perceptions and these energies, you're putting a little bit above your head. You're putting it above what you can really conceptualize at this time. So that being said, I feel maybe we don't see things clearly. I'm feeling like also the waviness of this eye is giving me like some ocular strain. There's some kind of something to do with your vision. That might not be a physical thing. It might be metaphorically. You're your metaphorical vision might be a little fogged right now because you are meant to kind of hold back, see things from a different perspective right now. And in this Hangman card, if you notice, they're not upside down. So I feel like maybe there is a perspective that is yet to be gained, that is yet to be seen from a different viewpoint. And a lot of times when I get this card for myself, it's an advising me to get into a physical position. You know, the Virgo card in this Hermit is like health, doing things for your health, doing physical things, doing nutritional things, also being of service in any regard. I feel when it comes to needing to talk through something with somebody, let's say, you know, maybe you need to see things from a different perspective because you need to know how to react to this situation that you're in where you feel like this person might not be being very truthful with you because they're trying to keep something from you. Maybe it's for your benefit, but really, do we ever benefit from lies? No. So sometimes truth can be harsh, but, you know, it can also create the kind of change that we need to make in the world in order to get out of being stuck. Okay, that's what's this cards are telling me. And the commitment coming through. First of all, you know, this card in the very beginning when it came out, I said Queen Bee, which it is. I purposely drew this with the longer abdomen as the queen. So in that regard, maybe what I had felt is maybe we're not honoring ourselves as being a queen. Maybe we think that sounds silly. Maybe we think, oh, well, you know, I need to humble myself in life. Sure, yes, humility is essential to balance. But at this time, maybe we need to commit ourselves more to ourselves, more to our own energy, and more to looking at things from the perspective of where, if you were maybe a different person. I like to, like a lot of times, let's say, you know, I've been triggered so many times by relationships in the past by just the simplest little things. And a lot of times I would almost have this rule where it's like, you cannot talk about these kind of things around me. But when I got to this relationship that I'm at now, you know, we have moments where it's like, you know, we've evolved out of things, but really there's nothing that we can't really say to each other. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of secrets that we keep. We're both Scorpios, but they're not in detriment to our commitment to each other. So what I'm feeling from this is that maybe there is some type of perspective that you have, that you need to look at something from another person's eyes, through another person's eyes. And that might be blurry at first. It might be hard to look. It's like grabbing someone else's glasses and putting them on. And it's like, whoa, you see like this? Like, and just think of that metaphorically. Like, we don't all have the same prescription eyewear. And if we're seeing the world, all of us see the world in our own way. And we operate in that way. And I feel like the Hermit is coming through to say there is a very unique, specialized, particular, I'm feeling like a very organized, particular type of way that you might like to be. And let's say there's another person around you that is causing a little bit of chaos in your life. And you're like, but I like things like this. And it's like the chaos comes to shake you out of that stuckness, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you feel. Because I feel like there is some type of deal breaker that is going to come to the forefront here in the Five of Blades that's going to ask you whether or not you're willing to open up a little bit or disregard, is almost what I'm hearing, the actions of someone else because of all the benefits that you might gain from this person, or vice versa. You know, disregard this person because all the chaos that they bring to your life. And you're going to be the one to decide that, obviously. I love pros and cons list. I do it with everything, even relationships. I mean, even with little decisions, even big decisions. So this is kind of showing me that with the Swords cards, there's maybe some writing involved. Okay. All right, so let's get you some Moon cards. And with group 1, I said, well, we're gonna look at the Moon cards, like bring in feminine energy, because that's kind of my mode that I've been really trying to honor so that I don't burn myself out being the construction worker on my house. Okay. So we have a fire moon coming through. So waxing fire moon gibbous with individuality. I'm getting some real Queen of Wands vibes with that card. Yeah, waxing, drawing in. I'm feeling like understanding your identity more. You know, I'm going through, what is it? Uranus is going through my first house of Gemini, so I'm actually having kind of like not an identity crisis. I don't want to say it like that. It's like an identity review or refresh. Like this year I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my nails more. And I'm just like committing myself to that because it's something that makes me happy. It's something that I have avoided in the past because I've always just been go, go, go. But then recently, after all the things that have happened with, you know, the stuff that I've been doing on my house, I'm like, I am not going to turn into a man, okay? I'm going to honor my feminine energy because that is where I'm going to find balance because I'm hurting myself. So I'm feeling like these new responsibilities that are coming in with this waning, the stuff that you physically can get rid of. I feel like getting rid of some of the things that you're distilling down. I felt like that organized energy coming through, getting detail oriented into something, being like, okay, well, that doesn't have a category. I can't work that into my life, whether it be physical, metaphorical, whatever. I'm feeling like this more grounded energy. Like I'm also feeling like maybe something, you might be losing something. It says, you know, waning, and we have the 7 of Swords. So it's like, maybe there's some perspective that you're losing or you're getting rid of, or something that I said in the beginning was like a little above your head. And not to say that you're not intelligent enough to deal with it. It's that it was a type of perspective that was rooted in instinctual survival mode, basic thinking that you may have gotten from an ancestor that had passed on that information many, many years. And, you know, it's like, oh, well, that's how we do things. That's how we live. And that's how we that's how we're stable and responsible. And that's how we do things. It's like that thing is maybe stopping you from, you know, moving forward in something that I feel like, because I'm also feeling like a traditional sense of things can be like, okay, now you're coming to a head with that. Now it's like, here's the crossroads. Are you going to decide whether you're going to be a part of that thing? Or it's like you're teaming up with this side or that side. I'm feeling a pull in that. Maybe even kind of like a, you know, a real arcane perspective moment where you're like, I need to look at this for what it is. And maybe we've had some illusionary thinking in the past, or limited thinking, where I feel like this card is also like coveting. Like you're wanting something from someone that someone else has, and you almost you steal it away by keeping it as a thought in your mind, and it aids to kind of a lack mentality. And then in that lack mentality, we're creating a divide, you know. And in this deck, I love this, the archetypes deck of these cards that we're going to look at soon. But in the cover of it, it says, accept all, reject none. And I have a real attitude about that. And I feel like that kind of might rub some people the wrong way, because it's like, how can you really believe in anything if you don't believe? How can you choose a side or be, you know, make any progress if you believe in everything? It's like, I don't believe in everything. I just see the perspective. And the word believe is a very strong and definitive word. So I have a very open concept of the way that I share my life with the planet and other people. And that is that I'm not going to make any real clear like strong things that I can't really back up with a practical sense. And I know I recently changed my bio of this channel to just be very simple, to say I work with light and shadow, because I don't want anybody to be under the impression that I am feeding sugar to the ants. Right? So I'm not going to sugarcoat everything. You know, I feel like sometimes I have a people-pleasing tendency, and I'm really trying to get out of that. So it's like, well, if I have something to say and it's triggering to you, it's really just merely something to examine. I mean, I take this approach when I look at card readings. I really choose lightly to look at them, because I used to look at them very strongly, and I kind of let it dictate a lot of stuff that I did, even my own card readings that I did. But I feel like I was very intense about that because I wanted change in my life. So if you want change, if you want to beckon in change, you can create change very easily. Very easily. Especially with the words that you say. Okay, and I wanted to get you another one here. So Goddess came through. So Isis. This card, you know, is also... This card's pretty harsh. It comes through, it's like, you can't force anybody to love you. Kind of, in a way. Like, it's like she brings her brother, husband, whatever, back to life. And, yeah, so there's like this resurrecting of something. I feel like you're bringing something up to say its final goodbyes. There might be something about that as well. Like, maybe there's also, I'm feeling like a heated discussion, a heated argument, a heated something that you're like, okay, we're gonna go our separate ways, but this is where I stand, you know, and like you can honor parts of that, you know, and guide it with some positivity. But I feel inevitably there is going to be some kind of parting of ways and a changing of your mind. There is also just an abrupt perspective shift is what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to think that way anymore. You're not going to navigate that way anymore. I think it's also really just getting real with yourself and not being somebody who's like agreeing with something that you're like, let's agree to disagree. And I'm like, no, let's just disagree. And like, I see how you are. That's a character flaw. That's something that I'm like, I don't want to be around. I'm seeing that coming through. So it's like, do we want to bring things up from the dead to look at, so that, you know, we can go, oh yeah, you're right, that should have stayed where it was. You know, so if there's anything that you know that you can't really rehash, but it's like a nagging, bugging feeling, I feel like that might be something, is some more internal things that you're working on, you're working through, and maybe personal therapy that you're working with. Because I feel with Isis, I feel this very independent feminine energy that came through with the queen bee here. And it's like, I feel like you're in this process where you're noticing so much more self-worth than you've actually had. Maybe there was like something happened. Maybe there was an event that happened, a separation, or just a divide of ways of some friend group, or a lover, or a parental situation, or something about friends. You know, everybody's gonna have their own thing, but we all experience this type of energy, is what the tarot cards always say, right? It's like, this is your guide to life. This is how you can look at life. And this is probably the best way to look at it, or else you're going to experience some of the more negative aspects of the cards, right? So it's like, look at it. I feel like this, why am I saying Jurassic Park? That's weird. Oh, okay. So, bringing back from the dead. So, okay, that part in Jurassic Park, the very first Jurassic Park, where the doctor, the mathematician doctor, is like, what's his name? Ian Malcolm or something? Yeah. He says, you thought, or you were so, something about being like so excited about what you could do, you didn't think to, or wonder if you should do it or not. Okay, I know, sorry, I know. That was rough, but hopefully you got that. But I feel like the energy that's coming through is like, it was like a lot of work for nothing. So maybe there's something about that. Maybe there's like this pause, this moment where you're like, you know, I'm just not gonna do that. Okay. All right, so we got healing wounds with the badger. Beautiful. Love it. I'm gonna make room for our last card here. So yeah, that's very indicative of that feeling I was getting. It's like, let it heal. Like, why do we have to rehash? Why do we have to bring it all up again and make a big mess of it? I'm also feeling like this head. Look at this head. It's like a alien skull. Like, it's really, really big, and I just feel like there's, what is that symbolizing to me here? It's like there's, I'm seeing this as like a crown too. It almost looks like, you know, Frida Kahlo used to do her hair, and Frida Kahlo came through in the archetypes, and we'll get you one too. But yeah, it's like I feel like this is giving me very, like, you're holding something over your head. You're holding something over someone's head. You're holding a lot of energy over someone. You're putting your energy into this person. You're thinking too much about something. You're putting too much energy, too much mental thought for the capacity of what you can deal with at this time. And you know that saying, oh, God will only give you so much as you can handle. Well, you sometimes can take on too much. And then God's like, or if you want to subscribe to that, I say all words. You know, the universe is like, are you sure you want to carry that anymore? Are you sure you want to do that anymore? Do you want to keep making these decisions that put you in these predicaments? You know, maybe we're healing from these kinds of things. I feel like a lot of this is healing. You know, these two cards are like, have we done the healing? Have we done the deep work? How are we looking at things and perceiving things? Are we perceiving them from a hurt place? I've also been working a lot with energy of identity, like I had said, and I feel like sometimes in understanding your identity, you have to understand that there was an identity that was created out of some of the things that you had survived through or rebelled against and stuff like that. So, you know, in that, we have to know and identify moving forward when we've got a healing mode, when we know there's something that is in mode of healing, when we're making decisions, when we're doing things, when we're stuck, or when we want to hide away and not come out of wherever it is. Because I feel like there's something about showing yourself here with this Leo energy. And it's like, one of these days, you know, you're going to have to make a decision to feel healed, to take this on in a way that's like, you're now operating from a different position. You're not that same person. You're not even that same identity that you were. You're ready to raise that up, and that might be difficult or confusing to people around you. But I've even been dealing with this lately. Like I had said, Uranus is going to be going through my first house of Gemini, and Gemini is very changeable. Uranus, very extreme change. I know already I need to lose some weight. I've already been working on it. No, there's just like some things, and I know, like, you know, shifting a lot of things physically that I do, just the way that I operate, and being also noticing, because I feel like sometimes we can do identity shifts and we're not being like conscious of it. But I feel like this is showing me being conscious of that shift, of that change, of identifying yourself and how you stand out as an individual. You know, because I feel like it might even look to you like you're like looking at yourself like an observer, like, who is this person? You're like, oh, is that me? That's the version of me that looks like without all that weight hanging over me, with all those burdens that I've left, you know, that everything that was kind of creating so much of a hold on the past that we couldn't really move forward. I feel like also this is like, those aren't your responsibility to hold on to anymore. The wounds aren't your responsibility. We need to metaphorically give that scab up, you know, let it metabolize into your, you know, into your energy. All right, so let's get you a herb. Ooh, we got calendula. Protection, psychic ability, dreams, and healing. Yay. Beautiful. And when that card comes up, I like to talk about when, just because of the energy that's already showing me here, I planted some calendula like a while back, a few years ago, and then it went away for a few years, and then it came back, and it just popped up one day in the middle of my strawberries. So I feel like there's definitely something that is going to be popping back up. It's going to be resurfacing for you to take a look at, and it looks different this time. I feel like, you know, when we look at the orange color, we think, I think of sacral chakra. So it's like the attachments that you've had to those people are going to be looked at in a more beautiful light, looked at in a more positive light. Like maybe even some of the negative stuff that you've dealt with, you're like, wow, you know, wow, did that ever make me level up in life? And it's like a necessary evil to it. So see it like that dark and light that you had to measure with in order to alchemize yourself to be the person that you are. So let's get you an archetype card. And with these cards, I was really just going to show you the deeper dive, because I love the deeper dive. Oof. This is my card of the day yesterday. Okay, so apocalypsis. Yeah. So I already know the deeper dive because I just did this yesterday. And it is a book, okay, that I actually have on my list online that I'm about to order. I'm just gonna try to see if I knew it before I looked in the book. Michael Mead's Why the World Doesn't End, and then the movie This Is the End. So I think that's that new movie, This Is the End, the funny movie with Seth Rogen. This is really crazy that you got this card, because didn't I say you're being pulled in two different directions? Because the apocalypse is like that feeling where it's like there's a divide, an instant divide, an instant choose. You have to choose. You have to seek with that morality that you see almost on the surface, where it's just like a plain out yes or a plain out no. You're like, this isn't the direction I'm going, and I'm not going that way. You know, there's this very extreme feeling in this card. It's a question you have to ask yourself. And I did read a little bit of the beginning of this book. I looked at it in a sample. Very eye-opening statement in the very beginning. Like I say, eye-opening. Yeah. I see this card too as like, these are ears. So it's like, I felt like today, you know, we had the voice, commitment, cleverness. There's a lot of shared communication. I feel a vibration that is shared. There's this very hive mind energy. So I feel like also there's maybe a lot of things that we need to act as an observer in and listen. There's a lot of listening involved right now. It's like, make sure that you're getting all the details straight, because yeah, I feel like it's this responsibility. It's almost giving me a scene like in a classroom where the teacher is speaking and like you're like you're hearing all of the stuff and she's running through, these are the rules, this is all the things, and then you're like, yeah, and then, you know, it's now your responsibility to now take in that information and run with it. It's like knowing the laws. You need to know the laws of where you go. I'm also getting a sense of travel with this group too, if you're going to be traveling at any point, to know the laws of where you're going, because, you know, it's your responsibility to know that. And, you know, a lot of people go, oh, well, I didn't know. It's like, yeah, that's like the basis of most people getting in trouble. If you're doing it deliberately, that's one thing. But like, come on, if you already don't know, like, and you're, you know, skirting the edge of where you're thinking that that energy might lie, I feel like that's also a message for somebody else that's in your life. Maybe they're kind of pushing the boundaries of where this needs to go, and I'm feeling like use that voice, communicate effectively, because that's gonna help move the commitment a lot further, is when we can effectively communicate. Yeah, lots of healing is going on right now. I feel like also honor that with yourself. There might be some words that you want to tell yourself to get up and get going and do some things, and it's like, you know, maybe that's not time. This whole group is showing me now is not really the time for that. Maybe this might be a real dormant period, and we need to honor that. You know, I feel like in the winter time, the bee, she's not going to be out there. She's cozy in her hive right now, you know? And she's mostly there, right? She mostly stays in the hive. I think venturing out just in general, like maybe there might be some organizing to that. Maybe now is just not the time for that, you know. And this is a timeless reading, so, you know, that can change whenever you're watching this. All right, so let's get you some more messages here to end your reading. All right, we have the crown with accomplishment, and we have prosperity with the pomegranate. We had that come through twice, and so far, like, I'm feeling like a lot of you are card readers will watch this because I'm feeling high priestess vibes. But accomplishment, so is there something you're accomplishing? Is there something that you're moving forward with? I feel like maybe there's a dormant period of time where that healing is your biggest accomplishment here. All right, so this card here, have nothing is ever never. Yeah. All right, and then this one here says, today I will be kind to myself. Yes. Yeah, I felt a lot of harsh stuff coming through in these sword cards. There might be a lot of really some nasty talk. You know, if you were to talk that way to a friend, would they still be your friend? You know, so why would you talk that way to yourself? And I have to tell myself that all the time, because I can be pretty harsh with myself sometimes. But, you know, we're here to better ourselves as well. So maybe finding a more effective way to do that, communicating that we have with ourselves. And then that also just translates into other parts of our life, and we can communicate better with other people. All right, well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me in this space. And if you feel so called and you'd like to come out and see me again sometime, I do my readings on Saturday. I upload at 6 p.m. Central Time. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to those of you who selected group number 3. Ooh, some ice falling off my house. All right, so, whew, you got always the banger, number 3, don't you? You got the scarab beetle. With the all red stone here. I feel this is red carnelian or red jasper. Probably red jasper. Yeah, so we kind of had a basic theme of the root chakra today. I just kind of felt the theme, the colors going on with this. And then I put up this as one of my posters I was going to hang up. It's a fabric poster of Bjork, if you didn't know. Love her. Love some Bjork. So, yeah. So me and Bjork are gonna guide you through your reading today. Well, she'll be underneath your reading. She'll be there. She'll be here. She'll be here with us. All right. So far, yeah, I did a little nail check. I'm gonna be doing nail checks now because I'm like really getting into my little nails. I got some pretty extravagant ones too. I just made some ice cream nails. And I was like, whoa, those are crazy. They have big charms that I made from clay. But yeah, getting into my more feminine energy. Just, I've been like a construction worker and I've always had like old looking hands. I mean, my hands look older than me. Even when I was younger, people were always like, how come your hands are so wrinkly? I'm like, I don't know. I'm an old lady. What can I say? But yeah, so I just want to be a little more decorative from now on because yeah, that's my vibe. And Uranus is going to be entering into my first house of Gemini soon, so we got the change maker working. We got some shapeshifter energy working. Yeah. All right, so I feel like that for you guys here. There is a big shapeshifting. I think this is a scarab beetle. You can't really see it though because I made it a purple background. I shouldn't have done that. I should have made it a little bit lighter because I can't even see that bug. But that is a scarab beetle underneath there. But yeah, we have kind of an entomology or theme going on today. I felt like we could get connected to the little creatures that are so important, the little aliens that live in our planet, right? So this one's really giving me vibes of Egypt, vibes of that era. Maybe that's also kind of an aesthetic that you like. This is gonna be a timeless reading. We're not gonna really go too busy into like a particular theme, but this is our card of the day that I chose in the beginning if you didn't catch that. Voice, commitment, and cleverness with the thrush. So this little bird here. And for this group, I definitely feel like there is a hard exterior to some of you, kind of an impenetrable. Even if you're very delightful and you're smiley and you're a nice person, you definitely put off an energy like, don't mess with me, I cannot be messed with. Even if you try, like, it's kind of like, I feel like also maybe you guys were the kind of people that were hard to be bullied. I know that's coming through. That's kind of funny. I've experienced that. Like, I was a chubby kid for quite a while, and my mom would tell me these like empowering things to say, and she would always say, well, you know, if someone's trying to hurt you, they're just hurting more inside and stuff like that. And I would use that to my advantage sometimes to be like almost a bully myself, like back at the bully and be like, crush the bully. like I know you're just bullying me because you're broken inside and you don't feel like anybody loves you right now. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. You're like, what? Shut up. You know, so I feel like that coming through. Like maybe you guys were like the kind of person that was like clever enough, used your words, were kind of like had that eternal shield where you're like, no. I'm loved, sorry. Regardless of if you felt loved or not, you're just like, no, I'm sorry. I'm loved. I don't need to be like hurt right now. Or maybe that's a vibe you're getting into. Feeling like that's kind of a vibe a lot of us are getting into. It's like, okay, why? Why are this unnecessary hurt that we have to put on into each other? Like so much back and forth. It's like, why? And there's so much going on in the world. You know, this is a timeless reading, but this is really meant to inspire and uplift and be there in those times where it's like, okay, we've looked at all this information and I feel like there's a lot of divides going on, you know, and now's the time to protect your energy. Now's the time, especially if you're a very soft, creative individual who doesn't deal too well with extreme conflict. You know, this is definitely a time to protect your energy. And also I'm feeling with our card of the day, I'm guided to say, protect yourself from, you know, media sources and things like that, because it's just shoved in your face constantly. If you have a phone, a smartphone, with a screen. Like if you're going on any kind of social media, it's shoved in your face all the time. And then it's also, you know, exchanged through other people that we're around, and we have to deal with everybody else's fears bouncing off of each other and how we're gonna deal with that. And then we find more divide because like your fear doesn't match with my fear. And so I'm feeling like you guys are definitely seeing a lot, feeling a lot. There's a lot of like sensitive feelers up in the air, just picking up so much information. I feel like a heavy psychic attack right now, and I'm just being guided to say, without even looking at any cards, like protect your psychic energy because you are tapped in deep. And I feel like you don't even really have to do that much protection, because protection alone, like just the idea of living the life that you're living is protection on its own. You're not really delving into that really chaotic stuff that's going on. If anything, there's a lot of people that have to hold space right now for that calm, peaceful energy that we want to end up at, right? Okay, let's get you some tarot cards. Oi. Okay, these just fell on the floor, so we're gonna get these three and then I'll get one more. So we have the Empress, the coin, 2 coins, and the 8 of elixirs. Okay, so that's cups. I'll get you one more. I feel like our card of the day is a constant reminder for me to project my voice. I do have a habit of getting into little voice. Little voice. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I always had like 2 sides to me that I shoe. I'm a Gemini rising, so I was always like, well, you know, I have this like little girl that wants to run the show. And then when that doesn't work out, bossy girl comes out. Anyways, this is about you. This is your reading. Let's look into your cards. We have some beautiful cards here. Empress, first of all, there is this beautiful aesthetic that I feel like you guys are really navigating in right now. You're drawing in the prosperity and all of the delights. I also feel like at this time, bone health is very important. I also feel like your blood is very important at this time. Taurus is showing me we need to maybe also, yeah, this Venus energy. Yeah, I'm seeing like if you are a Taurus, okay, that's coming through. If you are a Taurus rising, moon, or sun, I'm feeling like there is something, I don't usually specify about signs that when I feel it, and I just have to say it. So if you're a Taurus in any capacity, there is something to do with the body here that our body's been speaking to us. Okay, let's listen to our body, honor our body. That is a choice we need to be making here, because I feel like there's definitely something between you know, it's funny, I always thought this card was head and heart, like brain and heart, but it's heart and heart. It's like holding 2 things that you love at the same time, trying to balance them out. They mirror their differences. I feel like 2 of these individuals or energies that you love in your life also together could be one amazing thing. Let's say you have 2 hobbies and you're trying to merge them together. I mean, here's an example. My little nail hobbies. I'm like, okay, we're doing nail check now on my videos. I hope you're okay with that, guys. So yeah, balancing out things that you love. How are we going to do that? How can they contrast? The colors and the flowers are showing me a real confidence and like a friendly attitude, a positiveness, and also an apology. And I'm seeing with the purple is showing me downloaded information that comes through that newly you have to now take on it. I'm seeing that as a ball coming in as a juggler, and that being the next thing that you're looking at. There's new information that you have to look at, focus on. Okay, and then we have the 8 of elixirs here. Let's read these little potions. It says let go potion, despair, soul journey, aura cleanse, the void, wake up potion. I can't read that one. And 2 mystery ones that you're not really aware of. All right, yeah. I feel like there is something that you have metaphorically walked away from, emotionally walked away from, and maybe are on the edge of physically walking away from it. It's like having this thing up in your energy and being like, I need to focus on this. I need to balance this. I need to like think about this right now. You can think about juggling as in momentarily. Maybe there's an energy about being present within something that you're putting in your focus. But really what it's just showing me is like momentarily you're like, okay, I need to think about this thing because I need to focus on the decisions I need to make about this. And then also I have to think about just all the day-to-day stuff, you know, maintaining my life. So it's like, okay, but I still have to come back to this thing that needs to be addressed. And I'm like, how do you find time for that thing? Because it's like an extra add-on, because it seems like you might be a busy person. So the Empress is, I guess, showing me that she walks away with like very little regard. And the 4 of Rods is showing me a beautiful celebration. You're going to be able to celebrate whatever this is about. There's something going on here. It's like walking away from one thing is celebrating another thing. I'm just seeing this as freeing up physical energy. Like there's only so many places and so many things we can do within a day, and you know, energies we can exchange within a day before we get totally burnt out. And I'm feeling like the energy is going towards maybe a party, maybe a celebration, maybe a wedding. I'm also seeing the Empress in this being well, okay, I guess I'll say it. Maybe getting married because we're pregnant. That's very old school, but hey, you know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Let's go ahead and get you some moon cards here, speaking of that and the feminine energy. So it's kind of lending to that feminine energy in the beginning. In my edits, I was like, it's a shame I have to take this out because it's so funny. Yeah, you guys are the change makers. Oof. You get these 2 heavy energies. All right, so you got number 24, the mask. With Mercury, Uranus energy, we have Capricorn and Aquarius placements here. Then we have the number 1, volcano, with some Aries placements. So I feel like we are holding something in, concealing something that is about to erupt. You know, it's like holding that kettle and like, maybe you really need to voice something here. I feel like there's definitely something underneath the surface that's boiling up, and I feel like, oof. From like a psychological perspective, I'm seeing this as someone being in an avoidant energy rather than confronting. Because you're feeling what the confronting is about. Maybe there's something in the home as well that is just like come to a climax where you're like, I don't have enough energy for like all this, and like I'm trying to be like, I was even talking about that about myself. I was pushing too hard. I was in this masculine energy. And it's like I really was tapping into the Empress, and I was getting the Empress card too, like a lot. There's this real dormancy to your energy, but a raging like position of, you know, it's like this card warns of, you know, doing something out of impulse. And then this card, I'm seeing the Lover's card. Yeah, I feel like there is a relationship that needs more balance in your life as well, whether this is the relationship with yourself, or I'm feeling like more it's about another person. It's another person you live with. And then I'm also seeing a mother, more feminine figure in your life that holds quite a big energy. And I'm feeling like ultimately you are, if you resonate with that, it's like you are becoming, and if not, you already are this very heavily influential feminine energy. And it's asking you to regard that with a responsible effort, because you're setting up shop for yourself, you're setting up home for yourself, and to walk away from some of the things that felt like they were energy draining or all consuming. Okay, let's get you some more messages here. Animal spirit would like to come visit those that selected group 3. Oh, the Finch and Peach romance. Oh, that's so sweet. I said this to my partner the other day, that I was romanticizing something. Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. This, you know, it really makes sense. You know what I was doing? I was really trying to get past, I was doing some meditation, and I was really focusing on the card that I had of that day, and it had to do with something of security. I feel like it was the Offering. Yeah, I was still onto this deck, which we'll also get a card from this deck. It was the Offering, and I was feeling like the kind of prompt from that was like identifying what you could offer up that feels like something you're really holding on to for maybe not the right reasons. And I had to really deep dive, because I feel like I do this work constantly, but there's just always something lingering, right? And it might even be in a physical thing. So I was like there's this thing that is like, maybe I should get rid of this, you know, because I'm romanticizing the idea of this thing offering me security in some way, when it might be more of a burden to me to feel the holding on than the release. And it's like I'm feeling the 4 of Pentacles inside of the 4 of Wands, and this coming through to say, like, release that energy into the 4 of Wands, because then you'll find more of a place within that's more balanced and secure within. Yeah, that's kind of like what I had discovered. And sometimes I think romanticizing can be positive, right? But like romanticizing an aspect of yourself that's not helpful, because it creates, it's like it's a part of our character that we're holding on to. It's like we're holding on to like you might not even really know that you're holding on to a specific aspect or characterization of a type of person or a person in your life that is not in your life anymore. And it's really showing you that maybe that's an aspect, like I'm seeing mirroring. So it's like, maybe that's an aspect of yourself that you feel like you're growing out of touch with. And maybe it's a trait of yourself that is okay to let go of, and okay to walk away from, you know, emotionally, and not hold so much weight on it, because this emotional weight in this card is a manifestation block. It's like if you're not willing to let go of something, how else can you have space in your life to bring something else in? And the Empress is really great at constantly bringing things in and letting go. She's generous, and then she takes in, and then she's generous. And so I'm feeling this exchange energy here. Beautiful. All right, so let's get you an herb. The peach is also showing me very sweet rewards to something. The number 36 is standing out in that card too. Maybe you were 36 years old, or maybe something about 36. Okay, Lady's Mantle, comfort, balance, healing, and focus. All right. So this is the card here. So I'm feeling focus for that card most of all, especially because there's something coming in. I feel like there's definitely something coming in when you're, oh, the beginning is also an element of the, oh. Okay, this is something from reading too, the Apocalypsis card, but I just want to get this out before I say too much. The beginning is also like layered in the ending. Something like that. I'm not saying it right, but it's a quote in the beginning by Michael Mead. Why the world doesn't die. Why the world doesn't die. Yeah, okay, so there's a cycle. Okay, I'm seeing the feminine cycle. So there's a cycle that you're in here of healing, of balance. And it's like, kind of like I had said, sometimes, you know, we got to let stuff go and then we draw stuff in. We let it go, we draw it in. Ah, there it is. Seeing that cycle. Okay, so let's get you an archetype card here. Ooh. The Cave. Number 32. Deeper dive is, you know, I don't want to butcher that. I think I also did this in my last video. Lascaux. Look that up. And then the Cave of Crystals and the Blue Grotto. All right. So this is, yeah, I feel like the real interior. This is real an inner thing for you. Yeah, especially with the mask and keeping this in. Like, I felt like there's something internal, inside, deep in the bones. Yeah, I feel like I see you being released from this cave, coming out of this cave, feeling the energy to release yourself from something that has drawn you in. Because you had to stay there for a little while. And now you're emerging. And you're doing that with like I'm seeing this over the mouth, these eyes here. Seeing like something about your voice. I'm seeing you holding back from what you say. Holding back from your thoughts, holding back from things, maybe even purposely hiding, purposely holding back, purposely keeping things in. You're using this energy. I see you using this energy. You're focusing in. You're using it constructively. Yeah. Wow, what kind of magic energy are you guys into? I'm seeing just all kinds of stuff. Like real maybe I haven't even discovered what kind of work this is that you guys are into. Okay, this card here. I will survive the process, not perfection. I will survive. Oh, wait. Whoa, I will survive. It doesn't even say that. It says, I will strive for progress, not perfection. Wow, focus. There's something you're needing to focus in on, I feel. Because it's like I just made up words almost. My brain didn't even really process that. I will strive for progress, not perfection. Yeah. Alone is not the same as lonely. This little mushroom here. I know that orange color coming through again. It's real, like, I think that was in the last reading, but yeah, I feel a disconnection. There's some kind of disconnection in the sacral chakra. I feel like maybe we've walked away from someone in this group is really trying to find themselves again, really focus on their feminine energy because they've had it robbed and really depleted by another person. Yeah. So I feel like you're really honoring. I feel like even romanticizing yourself, having that romantic moments with yourself, that'd be very powerful. Maybe even the mask is important at this time. You know, trying on different identities, different aspects of yourself. The Sphinx, ancient wisdom. And revealed. Key. Okay. Revealing ancient wisdom, having the key to something. This even looks like a key in the forehead, and the key has the same jewel as that. It's like having the key to this ancient wisdom. Again, to the crown chakra color of these flowers. And I really feel like there's a connection of meaning of something. You can't turn back after knowing this information. Something has come in. Yeah, and I feel like you have a lot of protection on your side at this time. With that knowledge also comes protection as well, because you're going to be able to navigate with cleverness, right? And if this is like you're recommitting to yourself because of a detachment of some type, I feel like that is, you know, us speaking these informations to ourselves. Like, I also feel like maybe there's some affirmations that you could tell yourself in the morning or at night that could be very impactful for you staying on track and on focus with which path are you going on next. Because I'm feeling like there's some of you are also on this kind of open-ended energy where you're like, I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what to do with all this, you know, stuff that I've been dealing with. And I feel like you're going to make the right decision. You're definitely in your feels about this. So it's like, with that, you're going to be able to sense and feel out what's not right for you, and therefore making the right decision. And even if you make the wrong decision, you're just going to bumper off of that into the right thing. You're going to end up where you need to end up. And that's kind of how I feel like most of life really is us just, you know, we're going to find our place eventually, but there's a little bit more action that needs to be taken, motion that needs to be put forward, and, you know, romanticizing some stuff. I feel like there's healing also on a way to find yourself back into your body, into that energy of feeling that feminine energy. I feel like also if you're watching this reading and it's still winter when I'm posting this, so, you know, you will be coming out of this season and finding that spring season of yourself again, Empress card says. And also on to fall is showing me there is like, you're planting the seeds also within to be able to be worked. You know, there's some beautiful harvest coming. I'm feeling, if you're watching it now, there's a beautiful harvest of your energy coming in the fall. Okay. All right. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.